You're live.
We're live.
Hey, welcome to Slow News Day. Damn it.
Good morning. Got him. Look at them. They're like, what the fuck are we doing? I love these people.
Well, happy Sunday, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for hanging out. This
Good
is
morning.
Slow News Day Live. I'm Steve Boykin, and I'm hanging out in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I'm joined by my better than your co-hosts, Glory Jones and Ali Alexandra.
Hello.
We're fortunate. Period. That's the end of the sentence. We're fortunate, but we're fortunate today to for a lot of reasons to be part of a wonderful network that is incredibly supportive, the MCSC, to be joined by our good friends Pasta Jardula, Fiorella, Isabel from the Convo couch. It's good to see you, kids. How are you?
Don't forget about Johnny Buttons.
Johnny Hollywood, Johnny Camera, Johnny Follow Up,
Johnny Maricopa.
Johnny Maricopa was
Johnny
the best
Ballot,
one.
Johnny Audit.
Johnny Audit.
Johnny
Hi,
Streets.
Johnny Pesto Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
Pasta.
Sorry.
Sopranos.
Might want to
Surely.
leave. Might want to. Yeah, you might want to leave that one upstairs, Pasta. You might. Yeah, don't bring that down to the couch.
Gotcha, Steve.
Wait,
Thanks, buddy.
wait. You know, Pasta, it's been a while since I've heard your Steve Boykin impression.
Oh God.
We'll slip it in here and there when it's least
All
expected.
right.
So.
If it don't fit, don't force it. That's my rule.
That's right.
That's
I
what she
don't-
said.
I don't do tricks. She did.
I was thinking earlier.
Thank you.
I don't do tricks. And I don't play team sports. Anyways.
People get so fucking mad about that, dude. Like, so mad. If you're consistent across the board with your criticisms of people in power, they get so fucking angry. And like, why you would come to any of us who have no power except for like what we take and what we have with a fucking, microphone or with collective organizing. Like, to come at us as opposed to the people that are actual fucking provable, verified monsters seems a little odd.
Well, number one, they can't reach those people or get a hold of them. Number two, we're the group that's slowly building influence left and right. We're starting to move the change. You know what I'm saying? There
Well,
are
we
people
are.
who say they saw us on another show. There are people who, on the call-in show. I was so happy to see like some of our peeps that were like, hey, man, we found you guys on the Convo couch. We're sharing each other's audience. We're building our influence. We're doing the actual fucking work. Unlike these douchebags who sit behind the computer and they can give you a report or an article, what's going on from what they witnessed behind their keyboard. So, you know what? The reason why they hate us because they ain't us. Right, Johnny Buttons?
That was what I told you.
Glory, Johnny Buttons told me that.
I sent you a super chat that said they hate us because they ain't us.
Dude, really,
Right,
if we could not devolve into family squabble Sunday in the first 10 minutes, I know we did that before we went live. And I know we're going to do that about 10 minutes from now. But if we could have
Okay,
like 10
Dad.
total minutes where
All
we don't,
right.
I will pull the show over right now. Do not make me turn the show around.
Do it. I'm just kidding.
And go right back home.
Take you right back to the Perlman campaign, young lady.
Oh, do I get a chance to see G up there?
Oh my. Yes.
Hey, we have a fuck ton to talk about, and yeah, I did literally the whole fucking world is burning. But before we get into all of the chaos in Gaza and Jerusalem and all that shit, you traveled to Arizona. You spent more time there than you thought you were going to. You were like really in the heart of the whole audit process, and I'm gonna be like full honesty, I wasn't able to catch all of your content that I wanted to. Y'all, I mean, it is what it is, dude. We're fucking way too busy, and there's not enough of us. So please tell us like what you guys learned, what you found out, what was positive and what was left like wanting. You know what I mean?
You can begin if you would
No,
like.
no, fam. I've been talking too much. I'll piggyback off you this time. You go ahead.
No, totally. I insist.
You
Pasta.
do? Okay. Yeah. Well, first off, let's
Only
make an
Steve was that nice.
See, Steve?
Oh,
Examples. Well, let's make a breaking announcement over here.
Mhm.
To all those people on the Arizona Audit chat on Telegram, to all those people out there who call themselves patriots and support Donald Trump, there is a lot of positive things that you did get this election, but make no mistake about it. Donald Trump is not coming back. This isn't going to be a domino falling. Yeah, there are talks of parts of New Hampshire getting an audit. Michigan is still pushing. There's stuff going on in Georgia. But this whole process, really more than anything, and I think it's what really makes us all somewhat excited as election integrity activists, is it's going to change the process of election moving forward. There'll be enough spots where they'll call bullshit on, which it wouldn't make it reverse the decisions that happen. You know what I'm saying? Even though there's now talk that they're going to actually audit the down ballot candidates too as well. They were only doing the president and the Senate. Now they're going to go back and audit everything, it seems, after this little pause. But it's not about changing the past. It's about changing the future. And that's what has to be really kind of like laid out here. The things that they are finding, the discoveries that are happening. And there's a lot of bullshit. We were talking about it. We were reporting on it. I mean, just recently, within some of the information found by the auditors on the computer, Maricopa County deleted a bunch of files and shit before handing over, the equipment, which was against the court order. In late January, the judge, his decision is to hand everything over as is. And in April, before they finally had to hand stuff over, they saw a bunch of deleted files. So it really is just starting to point out stuff little by little, things that they are finding. And it's going to really just change the process moving forward. So,
Okay, so I'm not as optimistic as you, Pasta.
well, the Arizona laws that they're trying to that's coming up the bills there.
Yeah. Yes,
Georgia.
but I mean, I don't think I think it's gonna require a lot more for things to actually change. But getting back to the whole process as to why we went there, from the beginning, in case nobody knows anything about this, right? It was an audit held at a Coliseum. The Coliseum happened to be next to a carnival. We went into the carnival. We asked questions as to why these people were there, because the carnival didn't usually happen until September, October, correct? And they said that they needed jobs. People wanted to reopen because COVID was ending, and they kind of just wanted to provide people an avenue to make money because the carnival brings money. And so that's what they said. There were a lot of conspiracy theories on message boards on Telegram that Pasta was talking about.
Trust
that
the plan.
Were saying, oh, this is, some sort of blah, blah, blah. And the issue with those things is that it makes our job harder when people come in with just stories. Ooh, Antifa's coming and blah, blah, blah. And this, because we're trying to focus on what's going on inside the audit. So when you get inside the audit, which is very difficult to get in there, one, they were limiting the amount of press because a lot of the press that were coming in there were actually using lenses to try to look at the ballots, which wasn't legal.
Yeah.
Two, they were taking pictures of the people that were there, doxing them, and these people were finding threats all over, near them. Like the one lady found a snake in her mailbox, etc.
Yeah.
And so then they, what was it? There was a court. The media was trying to paint it like they weren't allowed to go in. What they weren't allowed to do is what I just described. So they were complaining, oh, the media isn't allowed to go in there. And that didn't happen. What happened is all that they were violating the rules that they had in order to maintain security. It's an audit. You have to be secure. And so then there was a court reversal. And so they had to specify exactly what happened. Correct?
Yep.
And then, when you go into it, when you finally are allowed in, you watch from above, right? Like it's like you're in like a stadium.
Press box. Yeah.
And you watch above, and there's a little press area, and you see all the Lazy Susans and all the different people in different colors. So all the people are separated into colors: blue, pink, green, and yellow. Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then there are 3 people looking at the ballots. There's one other person that has to verify the whole thing, and then there's another person that puts the papers into a stack, which then goes into a scanner. So that's the basic sense of the process. Then you have the cyber ninjas and other auditors walking around making sure that everything's good, and that's just one part of the process. In basic terms, that's what happens.
Yeah. I think the thing that's interesting, though, that like we talk about, like, so the Georgia Senate bill that just came out, right? There's a spot where they are taking it away from the Secretary of State, and they're going to have a bipartisan person voted in to be the head of the elections. I think when it comes to the Maricopa County, Arizona situation, they're going to, the way the state Senate is fighting with the Board of Supervisors, they're going to be able to make those changes, because the whole time Maricopa County is just obstructing the whole situation. They're muddying the waters. The Secretary of State keeps writing that there's a lack of chain of custody with the way they're handling the ballots.
Katie Hobbs is
yeah, and also the lack of security and stuff like that. So they're trying to undermine the whole elections. I think when they do come forth with a bill, situations like this, the ping pong that's going on between the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and the state Senate is going to allow for someone like a bipartisan person voted in or written in a bill to do so. I mean, the 3 things that they don't have in the audit, and they're still complaining about this, is number 1, they don't have passwords, the secondary passwords to all the software and everything they got a hold of, so they can get into the administrative logs and look at everything. Number 2, they weren't given the routers. They want the logs from the routers because they want to take a look. This is the auditing team. They want the logs from the routers from the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and the county, so they can look and see if the internet was talking the election night with the tabulation machines and somewhere else with a server outside of the machine, because as you know, these machines are not supposed to be hooked to the intranet, but they are. So they don't have that. And 3, they don't have the wet signatures on the envelopes yet to verify the signatures, which is really uncovering the fact that a lot of states, a lot of counties, they have a shit process in which they kind of authenticate these ballots and the signatures, whether it be a machine from Periscript that Whitney Webb talked about, which anybody can control that shit and get it through. Maricopa actually has their pictures of their signatures from the company who makes their ballots, send a digital picture to the county, and that's how they kind of scrutinize the signature on a ballot, which is shit. And all these things I think are going to come to fruition. And once the people know, I think it's going to battle the counter narrative that the Democrats are putting out there, that the Republicans are trying to make these elections less accessible to people of color and all that stuff. They'll have weaponry to say, no, we're just trying to make it fair. Look at it this side.
Yeah.
To where the common person in the public can go, yeah, you know something, I can see that there. That makes it right. So that's what I'm optimistic of.
Yeah.
But those are the 3 things, along with what Fiorella told you, everything about the process itself, which we experienced. But we did get some time with Ken Bennett, with John Brakey, with Mark Fincham. All these people are like, within the Senate and the Assembly, or running the audit, ex-Secretary of State. So we got some really great, juicy information. And we're talking to people who are doing the audit every day on the phone. We're getting them on the phone. We're speaking to them. And we're just finding more and more information out as we go along.
So the issue, really quick before you guys say anything, the issue is that the mainstream media is working in tandem with the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment of Arizona to paint this whole thing as an entire joke, as an entire circus, as we don't need an audit. Audits are bad. Fraud it. Let's call it a fraud it. So Katie Hobbs even called was it the sheriff? No, it was the she called some sort of security.
The governor gave her state troopers.
That's what it was. It was state troopers that were like, because she's afraid, etc. And like they're trying to say that these people don't have a chain of custody, that the cyber ninjas aren't paying attention. And she used the word chain of custody when she doesn't have any idea what that is. They're trying to make them out to be all Trump supporters. There was a guy, I forget his name. He was at the Capitol 6 riot, and he somehow got picked to be one of the counters, which was stupid. He shouldn't have been allowed. Just for optical reasons, you have to be smarter than that. But of course, that's what the AP and the Washington Post and all these journalists focused on, and they they were saying, oh, this audit is run by Capital Six insurrectionists, blah blah blah, and so this isn't a real audit. And so then they had the Daily Show where they interviewed John Brakey and Ken Bennett, and they tried to make him out to be like conspiracy theorists, because one of the theories that Javon Hutton Pulitzer was kind of buying into, which a lot of people else weren't, was that the paper, there's something to do with the paper of the ballots, right? All
Is this the bamboo theory?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit it like a drum.
Yeah, which is dumb. Like, but the truth is that our election paper, all of it is 20% recyclable paper. So that is true. Now, so if you use a different kind of paper, it'll be, you'll know. So his method is to use a blue light to figure out the folds in the paper. The whole point that Brakey and others were trying to make is that they're trying to dispel any theory, right? They're trying to pretty much knock out every possibility that these people are talking about. So in order to dispel these conspiracy theories, you have to have an audit, right? Otherwise, people aren't going to trust in the system. That's what they were trying to say. But when they get interviewed by Trevor Noah's goons, they're like, wait, so you believe in this conspiracy theory that China brought in ballots and da 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 da? So again, that's one of the things we criticized the other day, was that you can't just like answer the media with the same question that they're giving you. You kind of have to like pretty much tell them, no, we're doing an audit to find out the truth. Yeah. Like, you can't just say, oh, well, no, this is this and that. And that's where they get them. And they put things out of context. They edit videos to make them look like a bunch of like, oh, this is hilarious. And their name is Cyber Ninjas.
Keith Olbermann went after John Brakey, and that's the thing that really sucks, because John Brakey is the progressive Democrat who didn't believe in that theory at all, but yet they stapled it to him because he kept on repeating it instead of saying, listen, we have to authenticate these ballots, whether they came from South China or they came from Kinko's down the street. If they didn't come from our contractor, then we know it's fake. They're even weighing the paper too to make sure, and that's something you got to do, because it, like I said, somebody could have went to Kinko's and did some stuff or whatever, but you got to authenticate the ballots. Another thing they keep saying too, I think is really important, the Daily Show kind of mentioned, oh, there was already 3 audits. There was a recount and 2 audits. It was
audits.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think if they keep questioning these people, and the American people are going to say is like, well, what's their definition of an audit? And Johnny Buttons can speak well to this about the 1% audit in Los Angeles. It was less than 0.5% in Maricopa that they counted, and the audits weren't really audits. It was logic and accuracy test. So I think more the public knows about this, you know what I'm saying, the more likely they'll buy into real audits and understand that they've been gaslit about people telling them.
And what is a logic and accuracy test? A
logic and accuracy test is when they pretty much go to the machine, they'll take 30 ballots that are already filled out, run them through the machine, check it there, and go, okay, the machine's working right now at this time, and they'll pass that off as an audit.
It's done by the
same companies that actually certify the machines. There's like 2 of them that actually certify the machines for Dominion and all these things. Like, yep, these machines are ready to go for your audit. They certify them. They're recommended by the EAC, which is the Elections Assistance Commission,
which is just
a bunch of fugazi jerk-offs anyways, not anything really solidified. And that's the whole game. And everybody's getting greased in this whole situation. And all the contractors are getting their hands nice and warm and stuff. But I think the more this stuff happens, the more the public will be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And they won't tag these new laws or these bills that come out as just being racist. They'll look at them as election security, because our elections do suck. The more shit we find in Maricopa, the more we can go, see, we need election revolution. See. So.
Yeah, no. Our elections are fucked.
Well, it amazes me how the same people who will tell you the Democrats rigged the primary, they don't have, any semblance of a free electoral process, will then turn around and be like, but the general, where all of the voting machines are proprietary software, where nobody gets to peek behind the curtain and see how they're conducted, that is when they're the most sacrosanct and honest.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
And look, dude, the Daily Show exists to further muddy the waters, to like
Uh-huh.
add to the confusion. And when they do shit like that, when they hyper focus on something like bamboo and paper or some ridiculous fucking 4chan shit, anyone who looks at that should go, okay, there's actually something to this story. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so hyper focused on
Right.
pointing out this one easily debunkable inconsistency.
Mhm.
You know, instead, they're like, well, this is the God's honest truth because Trevor Noah said so.
Yeah. In a clever way. Right. He's creepy.
Look, dude, I just wanted Trevor Noah to be funny. That's all I wanted. Like, I didn't
Not
know
too
I
much
set
to
the
ask.
bar really fucking low. You know, like, you
Right.
don't even have to be accurate, just be funny.
Steve,
Just make
for
that laugh.
establishment comedians, that's still a lot to ask for them to be funny.
I know, dude. I know, but
Yeah.
Sucks.
You're not setting the bar low because it's a lot to ask and it's sad.
like,
Johnny, do you have anything to say?
Glory's purpose for the entire day is to spoil bits. That's what she's here for.
Nice.
She's here to just suck all the air out of the bit.
Oh my god.
No.
Glory, you can't take my title as Dream Killer.
Sorry, Sleepy J.
Let's let Johnny jump in real quick and give his assertion.
Johnny Maricopa.
Because Johnny went there and Johnny's got a different perspective because he looks at
Hmm.
different things.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, Johnny on the couch?
Johnny Maricopa.
Johnny Couch.
Johnny Couch.
Johnny Microphone. Johnny Audit.
Johnny Audit.
Johnny Other Side. Look at that.
Ooh,
Johnny on screen.
look at Johnny on the couch.
Good morning.
Next to his sister.
Fucking.
Good morning. It's too early. Do y'all have any questions? Because that was like a lot of information.
Yeah,
there, so
yeah,
I can,
yeah.
kind of help
Just leave
as
the chat
answer any
open.
questions about it.
When you're going into these rooms, like what specifically are you looking for when you're going to monitor an audit? Like what there's what gets reported and there's what we kind of know about the process. But since you've got significantly more experience than any of us do with this process, when you go in, like what is it that you're specifically trying to find that will make it, that make it verifiably legit for you? Like what red flags go up, for Johnny Buttons?
Well, not too many people are familiar with an actual audit, right? So,
Right.
Mhm.
Me just being the analytical kind of person that I am, I just look at every single process and every single step that, it took to even get into the audit, right? So the security was like pretty top notch to even get in there. They had the Rangers there, the Arizona Rangers. And and then once you get in, you have to be on a list for the press. And then, you're up 10 rows of bleachers and you can see down into the stadium where everything is happening. Previously I looked at the camera feeds. It's on azaudit.org. And so I was kind of like, it's hard to envision the space when you're just looking at the camera feeds, right? Once you've been there and now you look at the camera feeds, you're like, oh, okay, I understand where everything is. I understand what everything is, what if everything is, right? So so I understood the boxes, the fence around the boxes. I understood the process. I had John Brakey explain it to me. I had Ken explain a little bit of the process. I wanted both of them to explain it to see if they were consistent. But basically, I was just looking at the entire process from the point that they take out the ballot to then, where the ballot goes after. There in the stadium, right? There's also other processes being happening or that they're trying to make happen by getting the routers or getting the they had the tabulation machines in the back, but there was they were missing passwords is something that we found out. So it was really just like asking for information, finding out the process, and just repeating the process to our audience so that everybody knows, and if you want me to repeat the process, I can repeat the process. So
Up to you, man. Really, I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, I throw it to the audience, but there's a delay between us talking and it getting out to the thing, so I don't.
Yeah, I'll just go over it real quick. So basically, there's if you take a look at azaudit.org, you'll see some big brown boxes, and that basically contain little boxes, and that's where all the boxes of ballots come from. They pull a box. One person has a job to pull the box and bring it over to the table. You see in the middle of the auditorium, there's a bunch of these little round tables. They're called Susans, or what is it?
Lazy Susans.
Lazy Susans, yeah.
I don't know who
Yeah.
gave that name, and I don't know any Lazy Susans. So
I knew two.
Yeah.
But why
What?
did they
It's a
name the
dinner
couch after it? Yeah, I'm with Johnny. I don't get it.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, Lazy Susans are bomb at dinner tables. Okay, so
Like a 60s,
really are.
70s.
Get you a
they
Lazy
need to back-
Susan and a dumbwaiter, and now you're in business.
So basically, they bring it over to that table. One person has another job to take the ballots out and get them ready and put the ballot on the stands. There's 2 stands on the table, and then on the Lazy Susan, it rotates. It rotates, it rotates. And then there's 3 people sitting down on the table, and they all get these tally sheets for the race. So they get the batch number, I believe, and then they write down the batch number. And then, they were looking at 2 races. They were looking at the presidential race and the Senate
race.
the Senate race. And so basically, I put the ballot on there, rotate it. People have a second to look, 2-3 seconds to look, and then mark down on the tally sheet. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the cross 5. What's that? What's the tally? It's like a tally, right? So they would all do it, and then at the end of that box, at the end of the stack of ballots, they would check with each other to see if they all got it right.
They got the matching tallies.
So then after that, before I go into more detail with that, and how that's a really great process. After that, they take the ballots over to another table where they have like a camera like ours, where it's like a 5K camera, and it's up on a stand, and it's aiming down. And I saw one table that I filmed on the Convo couch, so you guys can see, is that a lady has a clicker. So she puts a ballot under the camera, clicks it, boom, hands it over to the next guy. So they're taking a picture of the ballot there just to get a ballot image, front and back of the ballot. And again, I think these ballots do not have any names on there. Maybe just a QR code.
Yeah.
That might be
no
special
names.
to somebody. I'm not entirely sure on that. I would have to see one up close and personal. And then they hand it over to the next guy, who puts it under a microscopic camera, and then either, I'm not sure what they take a picture of. I think it takes a picture of the material or the
scan.
folds,
Yeah.
or this, whatever. But I would have to see it just to 100% verify. And then after that, I believe they get put in a stack, and then they get returned over.
There's cameras in every table.
Yeah,
too.
and then there's cameras at every
So-
table that you don't see in the feed.
Yeah.
So they're recording everything at the time. I saw the media making a big deal about the black box in the middle. It's just a server that has all the information there. It has 4 petabytes, I think Breaky was telling me.
Yeah.
So
when they claim that it's not secure, and that there's no chain of custody, or that the ninjas are leaving laptops there, you're literally being watched all the time. If not by a ranger, if by people walking around and watching, and then the
now
cameras
media
as well.
and the media.
And of course the other media is there, but there's cameras everywhere. So it would be, even with that guy from January 6th being there, right?
Yeah. I was going to go into
he
detail.
he can't do anything. He's literally being watched.
But I mean, on its face, why would you have anyone involved?
Yeah, no, it's
100% agree with
horrible
you.
bad optics.
Yeah,
So
but doesn't that set the whole thing up for a fucking shit show after the fact? Yeah. Almost like that dude's a fall guy.
Well, he
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah, he quit. Can you hear me real quick?
Yeah.
Quit.
Yeah.
Too. We had an elected official tell us, off the record, that's such a stupid fucking thing they did to let that guy go in there. If I was running that shit would have never happened.
So yeah.
It was off the record. Anyways,
Well, he didn't name the officials.
Yeah.
So we're,
it's all good. It's all
not
good.
telling stories out of class.
And so basically, yeah, there's no way that he could mark all the ballots for Trump because there's two other people there that are checking it, as well as a camera there checking it, as well as observers there checking it. So, and there's no tampering with any evidence either because there's Arizona Rangers there.
Yeah, the
So-
Rangers aren't like messing around. Yeah, at all. So
Were they wearing like the whatchamacallit, like the Smokey the Bear hats?
yes,
Yeah, somewhere. It was cool. It was cool.
they were.
So, do y'all have any questions?
I mean,
Like, what are your thoughts on it, Johnny? Like, overall, do you have more of like positive feelings, or are you a bit more cynical about it? Like, with your, analytical mind.
Well, for me, the manual tally is like legit. Like, unless they're like Fugazi ballots, right?
Right. That's the thing.
But
well, and so yeah, here's just looking at the whole thing in the limited time that I have, it looks like the audit was staged, not staged in that it was a fake audit, but it was staged so that you could determine the validity of the auditing process. Like, it was set up so that they could show you that the process by which they conduct the audits is legitimate, and therefore whatever determination they come to about what they looked at, then that has to be gospel truth. Whereas, like, it doesn't seem like any actual critical thought was put into the entire election. And like what happened during the election and whether or not the election itself is in fact legitimate, because that requires a full audit of the software and the voting machines. And it has very little to do with the actual ballots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely think that there's a lot of narratives that could come out of this whole audit, but I mean, like, I mean, I'd still love to hear Johnny's full thoughts on it, just because I know he's very embedded into watching like these specific processes. So, yeah.
So, like, yeah, there's a lot of legitimate things that they're doing, and then there's a lot of things that they're not even allowed to do because of the county's like holding them back, right? They're holding back the password, holding back the routers, right? It would be a more legitimate audit if they were actually given all the evidence to be able to do everything, and if the evidence that they were given didn't have deleted files,
Which
like,
they do.
like they did, is the most recent thing that came out. There was deleted. There's literally like, it's like this day it was deleted right before they
April
sent it
12th,
off.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was the 12th.
Right before
And-
they handed everything over to the
Yeah.
ninjas and the auditors. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just reiterate that, I really think the manual tally is really, I really like the manual tally, and the process is clean, and
It's something to emulate, I guess,
They're gonna have 100% ballot count,
Right.
and apparently, what they're seeing now, what was it that it was saying? It was like 30 ballots off. What was it that?
Well,
in
one
that
thing
in
we
that
mentioned
in that
back
recent
then-
press release, yeah, it was just like a recent
It was
press
a
release.
I was just going to mention when Johnny was talking, because they don't have a proper manifest of the Maricopa County
Yeah,
election process. In other words, our friend Todd Jones, who I love to mention all the time, what's up, TJ? He went to do an audit, and he went to Riverside, and you could literally
California.
This is California, Riverside, California. But there's supposed to be a manifest. So you go to this box, that pink slip is going to tell you how many ballots are in there, from what order, from where it came from, and everything. Everything's well kept. So in particular, Todd was able to go to one particular box of one precinct, look at it, look at the pink slip on the box. It said exactly how many ballots were there and everything. Everything is out of order in Maricopa that was given over many times, and they're only like 1/3 done counting the physical count of the ballots. They're finding pink slips that don't match the same number of ballots in each box. They're not in order properly. It's a very messy process. And I told Fam, I said, well, this is what they're going to do. They're going to plead ignorance or negligence and stuff, not fraud. Oh, we didn't know what we were doing, and we're sorry, we screwed up. That's it.
Maricopa
Which is
County.
true.
Causing their problems in their tracks. So that is something done with the whole actual count. But when we did speak to Benny Smith yesterday and we asked that question, at the end of the count, we're going to count all the ballots. We should at least have a matching count to see what's going on. So we'll be able to do that.
Pretty much.
But
Yeah.
once again, everything that was handed over was handed over very sloppy, not properly counted, not properly documented. There's no manifest.
Right.
So that's also going to point out another problem to the people out there who are watching this thing saying, listen, we have to have these elections tight, airtight, and everything must be publicly trackable.
Let me
And I
ask-
mean, that ignorance thing is true to a degree because it's at least in, I can speak to Broward County, it's fairly easy to become a voting systems technician. And I know because I was certified to be one, that because I literally made myself certified to be one, but the whole thing was voided because of COVID. And yeah, so I understand why they would want to plead ignorance, but it's like the people at the top of that system and in charge of that are very corrupt. And I have another question as well, because I'm curious as to how Raji Rob's case could play into this, because I know what he's aiming for is also another way that we could audit the machines themselves, I think.
Yeah, the tabulation machines. It goes into the tabulation machines. So I mean, Raji Rob's case, he's currently, I think he filed for appeals already, and he really just wants to verify, that's what they also want to verify in the Arizona audit, that no one accessed the tabulation machine prior to, election night, because. Okay, you want to say it's illegal to scan the ballots and have ballot images before election night and have them stored somewhere that somebody could see them? Okay, well then let's just make sure that no one accessed them, right? Even that, it's bullshit. They shouldn't be scanned or stored, the ballot images, before election night, because that leaves room for tampering, right? That should be the law. That's what the law says. In LA, it says, under no circumstances may a vote count be accessed until 8 p.m. election night. In Arizona, I'm not sure what the law is. I have to look into the election laws. I think they started counting like a week or two or something beforehand, is what Brakey said. I remember him saying or something like that. I was like, holy shit. Or no, they started scanning or something like that. And I'm like, but I want to know more about this tabulation machine, because if it's a 2-in-1 scanner like LA's, which I'm sure it is, it's the second largest county in America, right? Yeah. Like I'm sure it is, then there's a problem there,
Can I say so that accessing that early count, and Raji says early count is just early fraud. That's it. It's like giving the team, the other team's playbook of what the first 11 plays they're going to run, like the Patriots did to the Rams when they got their first 11 plays. They filmed.
I thought that was the Jets. Was that the Rams? No, they recorded a Jets practice. That was it.
The Patriots recorded the Rams walkthrough in the Super Bowl, so they knew their first 11 plays, and that's why the Rams were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, we all know Bill Belichick's a piece of shit. We do.
Yeah.
But if I'm
Well
And
established.
fuck your fave Tom Brady too.
Yeah. Tom Brady can eat a bag of dicks too.
background.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
my
easy to be
my
the greatest
career-
quarterback of all time when you cheat every game.
Oh,
And when the refs don't let a single soul touch you.
Well, also true. When they're creating rules to keep defenses from touching you, then yeah.
Yeah, if I had no defense on me, then my career as a quarterback would be that long too.
Bro, I'd be a go. I would. Fucking 9 billion passing yards for sure.
you
I
brought
know,
up
right?
freaking football. That's what happens when you bring
Oh
up
my-
football.
I'm the football guy here, and I'm not even talking this stuff. You guys just went off.
No,
Yes.
I'm the football person here because I watch real football.
Ooh,
You watch football.
Peru.
But listen, seriously, if anybody accesses those logs, they have a playbook of the other team. So if I'm an establishment candidate and I can look at those logs, I know which establishment-friendly candidates are losing in what areas. It's not just about the president or the Senate. I can also go, oh, look at this. Angelica Duenas is beating, what's his name? Tony Cardenas in this area over here. We got to get more ballots in that area for Tony Cardenas. You know what I'm saying? And that's why these elections are just more than looking at the software nowadays. We have the whole ballot scam. You know what I'm saying? We have an excessive amount of ballots that are printed out, and they can end up into nefarious characters' hands and then walked in. If you know the playbook and you look at that early, that's why that law is in place. It's not allowed to be accessed till election night. And if they break that fucking there, it's cheating. And that's something that we're seeing sometimes, and that's why a lot of these logs are kind of erased right now, because they don't want to expose the fact that they were looking at those counts in those areas. They can cheat for certain establishment candidates. They can pump them up. They can do what they got to do. They shouldn't be able to look at that stuff.
Right. So just overall, if we're gonna see if the audit process itself, the counting is well done, it's something that could be emulated in the future. But if you're not getting access to the routers, if you're not getting access to the internet, like the connection to see like who was able to access the machines at whichever time, etc., that is not a full forensic audit, in my opinion. Like if that doesn't happen, then that means that it's not necessarily, Steve, and this is to kind of what you alluded, that it was set up like to fail. It's not necessarily like that the people doing the audit are not genuine in their concern, because from what I've seen, and I don't know if you guys agree, I think the people trying to do this are actually trying to find the truth. That's what the assertion I got from talking to all the people we've talked to, that they are actually trying to find the truth. It's the Maricopa County officials that are playing games. It's Dominion that is playing games. It's the fact that we don't own our fucking elections. Our elections are publicly funded private elections. Like it's a joke. And there's nothing, like they could take this to court and they have 22 months, right, before they start destroying these ballots. Like that's 22 months. I think they said Arizona has 24 months before they start destroying the ballots. It's like it's kind of like, okay, we'll see how far we can push this, because again, the feds could come in. They've already attempted to kind of stir the pot regarding the process, that it's not a real audit, etc.
Department of Justice looking into Arizona audit
with the Department of Justice. So like, yeah, like that's what we're saying. It's like, I think there are people who genuinely want to find out the truth, but there are a lot of people that obviously their whole lives and the whole faith in the establishment in the system depends on this. Like if they allow these people to get anything, which I don't think they're going to allow them to get a smoking gun, it would just completely destroy any trust in the election system. Like you can't deny, these are numbers, right? And so while Pasta looks into the mail-in ballots in this election, because there's so many of them, you always have to look into the fraction magic. You always have to look into the software, because that's to me the easiest way. And John Brakey feels like that's more of like the way that it was done. I don't know if in this election, but in general, like it's so much easier to change a number with a different code in a program. If you know what you're doing, you don't even have to be there. That we all know that that's possible. So I don't know what they did, but you know, in trying to uncover this, it would just push all this distrust in the system. And like, I for one do not think they're going to allow that to happen at all. I don't think that this Maricopa County and the powers that be behind that, the Democratic establishment, the Republican establishment, are going to allow that to happen. So
I'm going to ask the dumbest possible question on the face of the earth, though. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with what?
What's wrong with demonstrably proving that no one should trust the system whatsoever?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, nothing wrong.
So we need.
Yeah, I don't
we do
think
need
anybody
every
here is going to
possible-
think there's something wrong with it.
The elites think it's something wrong because then the illusion starts falling, right?
Right.
Ooh,
And that's,
Johnny Elite.
I mean,
That's
the predator
really
class.
it's really the crux of it. So when you go to like, it seems like they've made something as simple as voting. I would like to select this individual. Here is my choice. Thank you. As complicated as humanly possible in order to just like make it unnecessarily difficult so that you have to stand on this like mountain of bureaucratic fucking nonsense to be like, no, you have to navigate this in order to get to me before we'll have a conversation about whether or not your vote was accurate. Like that on its face should give people a lot of pause. Why the fuck is this a thing?
Right.
That was a thing that really brought me into election integrity, Steve. It was like, why the fuck is this shit so complicated? Why is it so complicated?
Right. What the right?
You just start asking that question, and it's like you just go down the rabbit hole. Especially if you try to find out the reason for the systems, right? Like, you know, then if people actually went down to their own election office and saw how it was run, then you're gonna get a rude awakening, right?
Yeah. Like, what are they hiding? Is
Right.
like to make they're complicating things because they don't want
The lack of
people
transparency.
to look into anything. So it's like if you're like to malign an
especially
audit,
if you're in a large county,
Especially.
Yeah.
if you're in an LA, if you're in a Broward, if you're in a Miami-Dade, if you're in a Santa Cruz, if you're in
Come
any
to
other,
Cook County. Yeah.
yeah.
You can't even question it. Nothing doesn't like.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing I noticed while kind of, you know, when I was first taking one of only 2 classes you needed to take to become VST for the elections, is everyone in that office is the same, despite the fact that they fired Brenda Snipes. Like, there was this false reassurance over the fact that Brenda Snipes was gone, but like the instructor, the instructor was the same. The people over him were the same. Everybody else, everything about that office was still the same. The only thing that changed was Brenda Snipes was gone. So, and it'll be the same thing if Dean Logan ever gets fired with his punk ass, even though I told him to resign and he's still there. Fucking waited 8 hours to tell him that. You're muted, Steve.
Muted.
You know, every aspect of these elections has to be looked at. Like, you know, I always use that poker game analogy and stuff because there's so many different areas. The poll booklets have to be checked. You know, you have people out there, and the narrative is from the establishment. You got people like Greg Palast who put it out there that anything you remove from a poll book is done because of a racist motive. You know, that's the motive behind it, was racist. And they're removing people and they're not making it accessible to vote. Well, that's just not true. You know, I'm not saying that they haven't done that in the past and they couldn't do that, but that isn't the largest reason why. They have done it before, and I'm sure they still do it.
I love how Greg Palast is a trigger phrase for like everybody on camera now. We're all just like,
yeah.
I know. I didn't even hear the rest of Pasta's. I didn't even hear the rest of Pasta's phrase after he said Greg Palast, because all I heard is the horses from all the white knights riding in.
Yeah. Because it's a problem within a problem. We saw it happen before. We saw it happen in our hometown, Florida, in our home state, right, where they had the cross-reference list, and it was racist as can be. They removed black people from the poll bowls, said they were not eligible to vote because they had committed a crime, because they used common names like Jones, like Glory Jones. Like, Glory, you might not have been able to vote in that election because your name might have been on the cross-reference list, and they really disenfranchised a lot of people from voting. But that happened then, and that's not something that happens on an everyday basis right now. I mean, it just doesn't happen anymore as much. It might happen in certain situations. We have to point out exactly where it happens. But for the most part, there are too many names that are dirty on these voter registration polls. When somebody moves, they don't call their old election official and say, take me off the roll. When somebody dies, they can call and say, take me off the roll. You know what I'm saying? So we have an issue within an issue here, and we have to figure that out. And when we asked Sonny Borelli if he could tell us if they were checking these poll booklets, because that's somebody was really concerned about, he couldn't tell us the game plan. But he later on said in that episode that people, Katie Hobbs, the Secretary of State, Democratic Secretary of State, who's been calling this a fraud and who's been trying to shut this whole thing down in Maricopa, complained that they were soliciting people by knocking on their doors saying, hey, does so-and-so, does Glory Jones live here? Does Steve Poikonen live here? Well, how long ago did they move? Did they get a ballot this time? Whatnot? So they are checking on those poll booklets, whatnot, and that's another aspect of what's going on of our elections. There's so many different facets, and we have to change the whole thing to the point where Fiorello is right. We can't even reform this shit. We need to have a revolution, start over from scratch, and get it done properly.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Referring to the Georgia Senate bill, right? The situation that we're going to encounter is that the United States has put comfortability in their elections over security. And that is going to be hard for a lot of people on the left to grasp. But when you do the research and you look into how other countries operate the elections, the majority of other countries don't allow mail-in ballots at all. And if they do, you have to provide some form of ID to get it, or you have to be in a foreign country, or you have to be disabled, or in the military, or anything like that. And the countries that do allow it, like I said, are very, very careful because, for instance, France banned it for the longest time because of fraud that was committed. And so when you look at the way our elections are, especially what Democrats push, they push, we don't want what Republicans do, where they are bringing back the new Jim Crow and they're trying to disenfranchise voters, which Republicans do that. That's absolutely true. But they're not the only ones that do it. We saw many voters be disenfranchised during the 2016 and 2020 primaries. All the people that were voting for, of course, the Bernie Sanders dude, they were all somehow ended up with provisional ballots, a lot of them, or they ended up in 7-hour-long lines at the colleges that had, 5 machines for 30,000 people. It doesn't work. And so that's disenfranchisement, voter suppression. It happens. That's one aspect of election fraud. The other aspects that Pasta is talking about are the mail-in ballots, where right now in California, where you can ballot harvest, Steve could go pick up all of our ballots and drop them off somewhere where there was no security to who would access that ballot drop-off machine. There was no chain of custody to that. So basically, what a lot of who happen to be Republicans are pushing is more security in the chain of custody, okay, well, we need somebody to say what time you're picking up the ballots, what is your name, who are you giving it to, more of a chain of custody. So I think in America, what we have to do is fix the whole security to match the comfortability. I'm all for hey, if someday people want to vote online, we can do things to make that possible, but you need to provide security. For me, right now, I don't believe a process even we want open source software. Sure, open source blockchain would be a good option, but that's
why people wanted it on the blockchain so they could track it, essentially.
Yeah, you need to track this shit is basically it, right? For me, it's it would be easiest to go back to paper ballots, because I've seen in other countries where they literally do that, their elections are the most fair. I saw it in Las Vegas when Bernie Sanders had the caucus, and they were literally counting ballots, literally just, it was there. You saw the difference between that caucus and the Iowa caucus and the rest of the elections, because it's the simplest way. There's always going to be that battle between people who only want paper ballots and people who want open source software. Pasta and us were well, we'll take both. We'll do both. Let's do everything we can. But that's what it is. I mean, there's always going to be that pushback. Well, oh, you're just trying to disenfranchise voters. No, if you look at other countries, we're actually really lax about the security in our elections, and we wonder why we have politicians that don't represent what the vast majority of the people want. I don't know. I don't think we've had fair elections in decades. I don't think we've had.
So, and look, dude, ever, I really want to point this out, because this is the argument every single time. Well, sometimes people are so poor that they can't go get an ID. Okay, and that's why it's racist to ask people for IDs when they go vote. Why the fuck haven't you and your party made it a priority to get these people identification so that they can go fucking vote? Why have you made it so hard? Why can you only point at the problem without it ever once crossing your mind to maybe do something about it so that it's an issue? In fact, this problem has become more of a convenient thing for you to point your finger at, so you never have to address election integrity, than anything that you're remotely concerned about. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's like you look at countries, especially in the global south, that have a lot of tight security measures. And, the reason why they have it that way is because if their elections were to be, as Fee said, as comfortable or as lax as ours words, guess who comes in? Ding, ding, ding. It's the regime change warrior coming here to dispose of your popularly elected leader. And that's why they have the most secure elections in the world, because it has to be. They have international observers coming in, doing that shit all the time because they have to. And because of it, their elections are some of the best in the world, the most secure. So
You want to hear something funny too? And also to that point, Glory, what they do in Bolivia, what they do in Venezuela, is instead of doing what the Bernie campaign did, is like, well, let's help people get their ballots to the ballot box and stuff and doing ballot harvesting. They create their own exit polls. So they have data and information to counteract the state or the establishment of those countries to try to swing an election. They have their information. That's what they were able to accomplish in a caucus situation, because the voting and the people are out in front, so they can go, okay, let's hit it in an app. Fiorello's in wherever she's in Iowa, she's going to go 26 Bernie, 6 Pete Buttigieg, 2 Elizabeth Green Bombs Warren. And you could do that, and you could track that, and they had information. They had it in Iowa. They couldn't treat Nevada.
Well, they had it in Iowa, but the app.
Oh, holy shit. Speaking of Iowa, guys, I have breaking news. The Democratic Party may have helped cheat Bernie in Iowa.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a new development.
That's the status quo. But Steve, really, to tell you the truth, what it gets to as well, and I know my partners will also attest to this, when it comes to a lot of these law changes for ID, they're mainly talking about absentee ballots.
Yeah.
They're not even talking about when you show up and vote. They're talking about absentee ballots, which have no tracking, no data custody.
Jim Crow 2.0.
They could, Jim Crow 2.0, my ass. So, and here's the thing, too. In Georgia, Steve, you can put your last 4 numbers of your social security that matches with your date of birth. You don't even need a fucking ID. And if you want to sign up through the Secretary of State's website, you can do so. And here's another thing. Just speaking to my friend in North Georgia, who when I went up there, it's not a race issue, it's a class issue. There are poor ass people in northern Georgia who are whiter than me, that the closest DMV to them is 55 minutes away. It's a 3-hour wait. They don't have access to it. They can't even drive because they're riding dirty. So it's a poor thing. It's more of a class issue. And you're talking about, according to Stacey Abrams' numbers, 89% of people already have the ID necessary. And according to Governor Kemp, it's 90%.
I just want to hear Boston say, riding dirty.
Try to catch me riding dirty.
One more
Calm millionaire.
They see
Calm millionaire.
They see me rolling.
White and dirty.
Calm millionaire.
Oh man.
They're not going to ride dirty. But I mean, that's the thing. And it's just, everything is so fucking twisted. They used to call the absentee ballot, the mail-in ballot, the secret ballot, because you don't know where it's coming in from. You don't know who filled it out. And they really took advantage of the situation when it came to the Kennedy Nixon election. And Daddy Kennedy, the wise guy over there, where the bootlegger working with the mafia, was able to cheat Illinois, and they also were able to go through Lyndon Baines Johnson. And
Wait, who helped them cheat Illinois?
What?
Who helped them cheat Illinois?
What's that?
There was a particular family in Illinois that helped the Kennedys cheat significantly.
Oh, yeah. That's the prime minister, Frank Castellano.
Well, and the Rodhams too lent significant assistance. The Rodham family, very, very influential.
They were tied deep into the mob, so it was, saying it was like,
oh yeah,
they had to help to get them done. So
I will start the bidding for Josh at 3 full Bitcoins. So we're clear.
No, you are not selling our Tech Ninja, Steve.
I'll join 5.
For Josh.
I just wanted to see how much we can.
Y'all killing me in the chat, man.
Also, Franco, why would you work out to this?
We're
Franco,
Go,
I totally understand.
Go.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
You got this, Franco.
multitask.
You got this, Franco.
It's true.
Let's go. Let's go, Franco.
Fucking chin up.
Go.
Right?
Staring at the fucking
1,
screen.
2, 3.
It's the only time you
Keep
have
going,
sometimes.
Right.
Push it,
Multitask.
Keep going.
We believe in you, Franco.
Man.
Possibly in the bathroom. He wanted to announce that.
I'm glad I took more than a microdose this morning.
So yeah,
that's
that's ballots and audits and election shit.
it.
You know?
Yeah. In summary,
Buy Scoop Coin.
pretty much we're fucked. And if we don't have access to that, I mean, you know, there's no like if they're blatantly gonna hide what you need to do everything, then that just shows you like, okay, this is fucking bullshit.
Right.
I'm at the point where I don't think this can be fixed or reformed. You have to like, they're not gonna do it, guys.
Well,
They,
and that's,
they're not gonna give up power. They're not.
That's what I wanted to hear, though. That's what I wanted to hear. They hid everything that you would need to conduct a legitimate, complete, full audit. The entire thing was spectacle.
Well, it's still going on.
Well, I think the hand count really can be like, oh, look, it's this off, and then
It's off.
It's off,
It's off.
and then
I hope so.
Putting more distrust in the system, right? Thus far, which is good because now people are like, okay, wait a minute, but unfortunately, the media propaganda machine has done a great job of making it look like a joke, right? And like making it look like it's bullshit. And the only people really looking to elections are on the right now, and then
the only ones. Yeah.
And so I don't think it's, but I don't think this is like a setup. I mean, people are trying to actually find out what's going on. I think what's the setup is the fact that we live in the fucking empire we live in, the cartoon we live in. Like they're not going to allow this to happen. But I think for us, it's like to show people like they're not allowing this to happen, and they're not done yet. I mean, this is going to continue. There's graduation week right now coming up this week. After that, they're going to go back and continue doing the whole process. They're supposed to, if they're not giving the machines, they're supposedly fighting back to get
talking about school,
all the answers, all the things that they need. They're supposedly going to fight back, like the fact that Dominion hasn't given them the passwords, all of that. They're not giving up on that just yet.
I hope not.
But again, like it's like, well, we don't own our elections. So I go back to that because even the people doing this audit were like, yeah, you would think, they just wouldn't give it to us. And I'm like, yeah, because we don't own our elections. Like this is
finish the thought. Let it become a full thought. They're not doing this because we don't own the elections. That's why. So finish the and it always falls short of that. This is one of those shows since it's you guys on here that's going to get like the G Hive are running to the YouTubes because they're not savvy enough to get on Rockfin yet. Where the fuck did that echo come from? Anyway,
fuck the G-Hive.
Right, but
G-Off lives don't matter.
Since we're all here,
say
something nice about Rose Twitter.
G-Off lives don't matter.
I'm drawing a blank here. I love roses, but
I really hate how these fucks make it easier to defend horrible people than them, just on the sole basis of them trying to out horrible the rest of the fucking planet. Like, you're doing that shit wrong. You are. That's not coalition building.
Well,
really
and since Rose Twitter still doesn't seem to understand this, hey guys, you voted for this.
Yeah.
You
I saw what's her name,
system.
fucking Alex Lawson come out and say, like, I made a mistake. I admit it. I voted wrong. And I voted for harm reduction, and this isn't it. So it immediately was like, and don't come in here with, what do you mean you would have liked Trump? Bitch, that's what you do. You know, like
all your followers do that, and
you're gonna be upset because people come at you with your tactics. Now, I'm glad you came to a reasonable conclusion. I am, however late it is. I'm glad you came to it. But what you do with that, what you do with the platform that you built, will show whether or not you were serious about it, or whether this is some like little mea culpa to get yourself out from under all of those dead Palestinian children.
Well, and a good start is to listen to the people that you harassed and that were gaslit, because we were warning you that this was exactly what would happen.
And look, dude, I got no hard feelings for like anyone who's honestly trying to do better.
Yeah.
Right.
I hope they're trying to do better, but yeah, same.
None.
Let's see if it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I'm not hopeful right now, but I
No.
mean, listen, we're still here. We're still here.
Yeah.
And we'll still be here.
Pasta is totally willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. And then like
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
I'm
there's,
really
like
not.
degrees from there.
Pasta's the
Okay.
nicest person. Like out of the people, like he's the nicest, like most optimistic one out of the three of us. Like
But no, out of all of us. Like
yeah, out of all of us, yes. But
Out of all of
even
MCSC.
humanity in general,
I don't
like the entire sentient population, Pasta is the nicest and most fucking hopeful out of all of us. Fucking like that, dude. It
That's
really
funny.
Oh,
We need that though.
we need
Hey
that.
yo, real
right?
quick,
Somebody
real
needs
quick.
to be
While I
hopeful,
have the
please.
combo couch here, Johnny Streets, Fiorella Isabel, and Pasta Jardula, our man Anthony Reyes is in the chat, and y'all gotta do a show with him, and he says he wants to do a show with Johnny Tsunami, so putting that out there.
Oh,
Cool.
damn.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I
My
would love
schedule's-
to.
my
I
schedule's
would
getting
love to
busy,
do
you
that
know.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
More people are asking to have me on because they're realizing that the real shit comes from.
The real shit comes from you.
Well, I mean, okay, it is
You're
true
a real
though
one.
that
Yeah, you
Johnny
think
gets
that's true.
massively slept on. It really is.
Yeah, of course, Anthony Reyes, fam. He's totally fam.
He is.
The fucking nails.
I know.
I love your nails. They keep me honest in them, by the way.
So yeah, dude, like yesterday was really cool seeing 25,000 people come out. The thing is that what we were noticing, right? We were like, some of these people are pro-Palestine, but anti, like,
Well, I'm sure that some were probably anti-cop, probably or not
pro-cop.
pro-cop, but
there
some was
was
conservatives.
yeah, there were some conservatives. There was some two-state
It
solution,
was weird.
pro-Palestinian people.
Um,
There was all kinds
Wow.
of like.
And then there's a lot of leftists as well.
There's a lot of leftists.
Rose Twitter as well.
Yeah,
There's
there's a lot of
There's a
conservatives.
really
Yeah.
broad spectrum there.
a broad.
That's good.
But that's
I
fucking
mean, that's
awesome.
what you
Good.
would
That's what we
expect.
want. Yeah.
The- Jones and I have been talking about it for days, dude. Like Israel's lost the narrative
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
broadly.
sure.
And in as much as there have been exploitable cracks in the Iron Dome, there's
Iron Dumbo.
exploitable cracks in the propaganda. The fucking when your narrative is now entirely built on lies or 100% on previous travesties.
We got really nowhere to run. It's gonna crack.
Yeah, there's no center to it. There's no
Right.
foundation to it. So that's going to erode.
You know what? Really, I heard a lot from talking to some people on the ground there. It was like the videos really moved,
The
lot of
videos move
people.
them.
I'm sure.
and especially that video of them like basically I think it was like stun grenades or smoke grenades in a mosque that
Yeah.
really ignited some fury in a lot of people.
Yeah.
I believe in the Muslim community or the Arabian community, that it was like, what the hell, is going on? That's something that really I feel like
Yeah.
I
And
got
not
that
everybody-
feeling from the people. we
Dude,
talked
all
to.
religious people, anybody of any faith,
Yeah,
should
and not
fucking
everybody, there
feel
was a-
immediate solidarity with everyone inside Al Aqsa that day,
Yeah.
because that is that's like one of the most ultimate violations of your faith that anyone could ever fucking purport on you. And as a religious person, you would have to have a little empathy with that, I would think.
You would think. You would
There's
hope.
Christian Palestinians too that were there supporting. Like they made it known that they were
Mhm.
Christian. That had nothing to
Yeah.
do with religion. It had to do with the fact that this is genocide. This is an open air prison. Like, like it doesn't matter. Again, like it doesn't matter if you're Jewish. This isn't about your ethnicity or religion, whatever. This is like, it's very clear. It's rare. It's rare that we have such a clear cut situation, right? Normally, foreign policy is messy. It's gray. It's hard to find the black and white. In this situation, it is very, 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 very obvious here. One side is literally committing genocide on the other, and there's really no way to twist it. So that's why Israel is losing the narrative, because the more they try to twist themselves into a pretzel to justify what they're doing, the more people are like, wait a minute, but like, you're lying. Like you're like,
Right.
this is
Look at all these videos, you're
even the
lying.
people, even the people that try to like condemn Hamas their way out of it, like we get it. Hamas is a fucking like corrupt governing party, and one of the reasons why Palestine is struggling now is because they succeeded in fucking sabotaging Syria, but like people are condemning the one part of Hamas that the people of Palestine support, which is their armed resistance to Israel.
Not only that,
like
but we've got documented evidence that fucking the state of Israel supported Hamas and wanted Hamas to be leading the nation, leading
a long
the
time ago.
Palestinian
Yeah.
Authority, because it helps them.
Yeah, of course.
Give them a fucking reason
right.
to be an aggressor nation.
That's a pattern, Same with the United States, what they do. They want that opposition.
And then for the people that are like, well, 1400 years ago, that was Rome. Your problem is with Rome. Take it up.
Take it up with Rome. Okay.
Don't take it up with
the Italians.
Yeah, I mean,
For Northern Italians, by the way, I am 60.
Oh my god.
We didn't like Benito Mussolini. We didn't like Caesar. He's not our peeps.
Okay, pasta. That's great to know.
Going back to that one point, I think the video was really strong. It was kind of like I can draw parallels to the George Floyd footage. Whereas, a lot of people got inspired by the George Floyd footage to come out and protest. A lot of people got inspired by the footage you're seeing that's being somehow even getting out into Facebook and Instagram is still blocking everything. Twitter's saying this is sensitive content, or what was it that they had on yours feed? It was sensitive content.
Oh yeah. So a lot of the tweets I was sharing yesterday for people were coming up a video not available.
Oh, then this was for the protests, right?
Yeah. For yesterday.
Yeah.
People were sending me screenshots of how it said video not available in some circumstances, but no, like they're marking everything, right? And this is like what we always struggle with too here. Do we show this or not? Do we show pictures of dead kids? Because that's difficult for all of us to look at, for one. And I know, let alone most people who don't see these things all the time, because we do see these things all the time because we cover this shit. But like, it's like you warn people. But for me, it's always been like, yeah, I want people to see this because it shows the truth, the reality. As ugly and nasty and disgusting and sad as it may be, people need to see this shit. Because if they don't see this shit, then if they didn't see any of these videos of entire families getting wiped out, people who are going to help an injured victim getting bombed, like if you don't see that, you can just think of Palestine as like a destroyed, half nation that there's a two-sided argument. Yeah, both sides are bombing each other. I mean, for the longest time, that's what we were told. Like when I was young, there was Israel, Palestine. Oh, the ceasefire. Okay,
there's terrorists.
Terrorists are bombing Israelis.
Hamas is a terrorist group.
That's what you hear, though. Like,
they're bombing Holocaust survivors. And stuff. That whole narrative. So along with the videos and then along with censorship of those videos, I feel like that's probably woken up a lot of people to this shit. And then, just really the footage.
The key is how do we take this into an anti-war movement? And what I did like about what I saw yesterday was there were people I think they were the main organizers in a truck, and they started doing speeches about imperialism. They started talking about the Sandinistas movement, about how U.S. interventionism played a role in that. They started then talking about the history of Israel-Palestine and why, you know, it's not a two-sided thing. And they started talking about just every other U.S. imperialist regime and how Malcolm X and Fred Hampton, they mentioned the Black Panthers. They started saying, hey, imperialism is what we need to look at. They started educating people at the protests who have not been educated on that. I mean, people were just coming because they felt compelled to come. They didn't like take a history lesson on everything that's gone down in Israel, Palestine to show up at the protest. That's not required. But once you're at a protest like that and you start talking to people, then that's when you start, okay, like maybe I need to look more into this and that. And like, that's how it happens.
A lot of people that we interviewed didn't know too much about it. But then I found, you know, we found a few people that did know. It was like, yeah, capitalism, as long as there's still capitalism, then imperialism will flourish and stuff like that. You know, it's like, we got to combat capitalism. There's one of the younger people that we interviewed really was talking about. And that was awesome.
Yasser Arafat's party, the PLO, was a secular socialist government. And
and that's where Fatah came from.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say the PLO is where Fatah came from before they initially sold out in the Oslo Accords. Like Hamas came from the Brotherhood, but the thing with them is because they rose to power in the 2006 elections because they didn't demilitarize. They still took up armed resistance against Israel, which is like.
Also, like you said too,
they cheated that election.
Has become like the, you know, what somebody described to me the other day is that they've become the Uncle Toms to the Israeli, you know, government and stuff like that. That they're not standing up for the people. And Hamas doesn't even allow, you know, Christian figures to run inside their party, and yet they still won enormously. So that tells you the state of the Fatah party. It's not the party of Yasser Arafat right now, and that's also another tactic Israel does to keep people divided, is they keep the parties and the people at each other's throats. Somebody did mention to us yesterday when we interviewed them that you don't see Israel going after the Palestinian Christians because it would turn their narrative, and the people in the States might not support this kind of occupation or this apartheid if they did see that. So it's they even play games within games. The situation is a lot more nuanced than people realize. And even Steve pointed out, we've been talking about this, Hamas was supported by Israel in the beginning to counteract the growing popularity of the PLO. They didn't want a secular socialist government there. That's what it's all about. It's imperialism.
Yeah.
Allie,
and I mean,
Palestine.
Oh, sorry.
Get out of
here.
here. So,
I will see you later.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be back.
Bye, Allie.
All right, guys. Bye, guys.
Good
Bye, Allie. Take care.
See ya.
Bye, Allie.
And I was going to say, too, Palestinian Christians are getting attacked. It's just that you don't notice.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's Palestinians in general. Like, it's Palestinian Jews and it's Palestinian Christians and it's Palestinian Muslims and Arabs, because, like, everybody always says, like, you know, Jews and Arabs did live in peace in Palestine before the Israeli settlers came in, a majority of them being Western settlers,
European. It's like
when you watch that video, that it's from a while ago, but like the clip recently resurfaced of Abby Martin talking to all those people in West Jerusalem. You got like fucking like liberal sounding blonde girl who's probably from New York there. Like, if you look at the history, this land is ours, and the only way to do that is to just get rid of the Arabs. We just need to protect ourselves. Like, if you look at the history, it's ours. Like, those are it's an overgeneralization. Yes, I know, but
no, I mean, that's pretty accurate.
It's most of them. I mean, I saw Abby's, but she's not. There are other people I've seen interviewed there in the West Bank, and like, and it's just, they are so anti-Arab. Like, they think of them as lesser than human, and you can't. How do you fight that, right? Like, it's like the same thing. We're still dealing with very small pockets of that here. and then and and like the hypocrisy that was pointed out yesterday by somebody from that had been protesting at the BLM protest is like, we can't, you can't say BLM here if you're not saying it over there. And that's the hypocrisy of American exceptionalism, where, oh my God, look at what's happening. Look at what the police are doing here. But we're just going to pretend that Israel-Palestine isn't the same thing. It's the same exact thing. And I had a friend who was organizing one of these protests in another state. And of course, a Karen comes in and says, we need to talk about your logo, because it seems like you're stealing from BLM by saying we can't breathe since 1948. And did you talk to any of the Black organizers about this? Like they were trying to be like, oh, you're stealing. Guys, it's the same.
Yeah, like you can't say
like,
Palestinian lives matter.
What
like,
hell?
bro,
like you don't own this shit. Like, this is like,
of course it's some Karen that's
it was
coming
a
in.
white woman.
Once again with the fucking saviors. These people just are just
I
blowing my
know.
mind.
And it's like, for all those people that share pictures of like Angela Davis behind the bulletproof glass, like, oh my God, yes, queen, look at her owning these racists. The Black Panther supported the PLO.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
They did. They mentioned that too.
The Black Panthers talked a lot about communism in Cuba. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, we dropped Reverend Annie Chambers video out there and stuff like that. So you guys should take a look at it. It was awesome stuff. And it was so great to be a part of that with you guys with Slow News Day and that whole experience.
I know.
Pretty awesome.
That was so awesome.
It was really life-changing for me. I just thought it was amazing. Like, that was my favorite interview so far. I can't wait to get back out there. A close second was our boy McHenry over there. You know what I'm saying? He's awesome too as well.
I talked to him on the phone just yesterday, and am gonna be going down to spend some time with him this week. I have been too busy to do any volunteering with Food Not Bombs. It's starting to like grate on my soul, so I'm making sure that I get back down there this week.
There'll be no frolicking lamb in that food, by the way.
No, straight vegan.
That's right.
Straight vegan. Look, man, I believe in personal choice, right? And so I'm not anti-vegan. I just expect the same respect from my vegan friends. That's all.
And if not, then you're going to get made fun of. Oh, and also, other side note, for all you anti-interventionist conservatives, so how does it feel to be licking the ass of Mossad?
Ooh.
Just curious. I mean, Robert Maxwell and all the ties to Epstein and that whole sex trafficking circle. How does it feel to be just deep throating their boot right now?
Are you talking about
Mr. Anti-Deep State Jack Posobiec?
You talking about the conservatives who are pro-Israel?
The Zionists.
I think specifically on this one, she's talking about Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, but also there's that Ian dude, the wannabe Andy No Boots left
Ian
on
Miles
Rick.
Chong, that one,
Yeah.
I know
I'm
thee well.
curious as to how it feels.
This is the area of criticism for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and they should
to have
They're
just Mossad's ball sack just
You're not
dangling in your
against
face. How does that feel?
My mom used to get so mad, like when she's like, how come you don't have a nativity set up with the candles for Hanukkah and stuff like that and the mall stuff? She's like, you should do both. Like, I mean, we should be respectful to both, because they weren't letting nativity stuff go up, but they were letting up the Torah candles up there and stuff like that. Now, since Trump's been president, she's so pro-Israel. It's so crazy that Donald Trump got a lot of old school conservatives that used to be like, I don't know about this, the Israel situation. It's like, it seems like we're spending so much money. They have everything. We don't have anything. To now, like, oh, we got to stand behind our Judaic Christian principles. So it's so weird to see that, but that's how people follow Donald Trump. They really are that way. Like,
I mean,
it's
a
crazy.
Cult, though. It's a cult mentality. Whether you follow Donald Trump, whether you follow Joe Biden, it's the same fucking bullshit. Like, you're a hypocrite. If you're talking about the deep state and you're not going to take into consideration how Israel is so involved in our country, in our elections, in every aspect of our country. When Joe Biden said, you know, if we didn't have Israel, we need to invent it in Israel. Well, that's because we need a military base in the fucking Middle East. And if you're gonna come at me and say, oh, like, you know, like I'm with Israel, but you're not gonna give me any reason as to why are you for genocide? Like, I've asked people, like, who said, I stand with Israel. I'm like, okay, why? And they don't answer because it's just some culture war fucking like, I stand with Israel. I'm gonna pick a team. I'm gonna play team sports.
Yeah,
like because the left likes Palestine, so I'm against the left, so I'm gonna stand with Israel because the left likes Palestine. That's what it boils down to.
It's the also anti-Muslim thing
you
too.
Show them fucking Debbie Wasserman Schultz and fucking like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton.
You're with them too.
There are people out there that legitimately think that because Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a Democrat that she's anti-Israel. And I talked to a man while canvassing for Jen Perlman last summer who thought that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was anti-Israel. I kid you not.
Oh, Jesus.
That's how bad the partisanship is.
Yeah. Well, anybody who voted for Joe Biden shouldn't have been out there supporting Palestine yesterday because technically, because Joe Biden has said before, not only that he's going to invent this, but he's also said, I am a Zionist. He said it plain and simple. I am a Zionist. I mean, come on. As soon as he got into office, Netanyahu started upping the bomb into Syria. It's ridiculous. Whether it be Joe Biden or Donald Trump, the military intervention over there, still the same. The military support, still the same for Israel. It doesn't.
We're playing it. We're playing it.
Yeah.
We're playing Joey B.
We do it live.
We do it live.
Shout out Burmis. And shout out Marcus Cage, who's in the YouTube chat.
Oh, hey, Marcus. Hey, Marcus, I did not see your message until this morning. It got buried. Next Saturday for sure. Let's do that.
Here he is, Joey B.
There is this inextricable tie between culture, religion, ethnicity that most people don't fully
Look at
understand.
how close he is to that guy.
That is unique and how can I say it?
About ready to grab his tie.
So strong. Jews worldwide. There is a. I mean, you know, I used to say early on when I was a kid, I'd say when I was a young senator, I'd say if I were a Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
Wow. We have to vote out fascism. Vote for Joe Biden. Steve, your hair looks great too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I love the whole suit. You're looking fly, brother.
I was trying to impress a girl.
Well, you impressed me.
You impressed grandma, so if you impress grandma,
yes,
the ladies will be impressed. The lady will be impressed.
I'm gonna make my hair was back earlier. It's just it hurts. So I'm not used to that shit.
Could you say that again? Because I spoke over you.
I did have my hair back up earlier. I did. I do.
Sequoia, baby. Let's get it going. Get the man bun out.
I'm gonna have to. I did though. I did. And if you missed it, then that's your fault.
Can I also say how awesome you guys are killing it on this call-in show? Like, I think we need to have a call-in show now, just copying you guys. It's been so great listening to you. We listened to you and Allie. Gloria, you weren't on that particular show as we were driving back from Arizona. Obviously, we called in, but we listened to the whole rest of the show. And just hearing some of our audience, like we always say, our audience is awesome and they're so educated and they got so much knowledge. I love Shadow Ban Refugee that day and everything he had to say. It's like I've been trying to communicate with him. We do have great audiences and great listeners and great followers and supporters. It is awesome to hear from them. And you guys have been killing it on this call-in show.
And buy Scoop Coin and Truffle Coin, not Sim Coin.
There's a Scoop Coin? Can I buy it with Ethereum? Can I trade it in?
Josh won't let us do anything with cryptocurrency because of the amount of energy it takes to produce all of that stuff.
Who? Sleepy?
I respect that. I do. I respect it, but I just wanted to like have an NFT as a joke, and he was very adamant about like, no, we can't even do it as a bit because of how much energy it takes.
No
porn. Porn.
Porn takes up a lot of the energy grid every day, more than anything.
Okay, but we're not doing porn either, Pasta.
You aren't, but people all over the world are. I'm just saying.
I
If
mean,
you want
Only
to
fams.
fan porn.
I thought we were starting.
Any of you want to volunteer to
All
do
right.
that? Go ahead.
And there's
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
a very different episode of Fuck Your Faves.
Listen.
it is.
Scoop coin can be a proof of stake, meaning it doesn't require mining to get it done. So Scoop coin could be a proof of stake because Ethereum is going to be done with mining in a year. That's the beautiful thing about Ethereum and why it will continue to shoot up. We can do that with Scoop coin.
I'm not a fan of centralized crypto though, Pasta. I'm not.
Yeah,
Sorry
Scoop coin is decentralized, and so is Truffle coin. That's why we like Truffle coin. But
So what if we just get
Simp
solar
coin is a
powered
scam.
coin?
Stay away from that.
Solar, wind, we can find a way to listen. You can't sit there and just go
That
look at
requires
crypto and say
oil.
cryptos.
No. Hey. I'm saying that we aren't producing our own cryptocurrency, nor are we getting involved in the fucking tax write-off scam that is the non-fungible token because Josh has ethical concerns about the energy use. I'm not down on crypto in general. I'm not. I'm a fan, especially if it's decentralized. I do believe that we should find a way to transition to a redefinition of work and a society that doesn't require cash as or money as a thing in general. But
I'm fine with crypto, but NFTs are a fad that suck. That's it.
Yeah, but nobody's shitting on crypto,
crypto.
conceptually.
Crypto's fine.
Yeah.
But the NFT thing, it's pretend. I don't know. It's stupid.
I totally realized where this tangent came from, and I was actually gonna say you guys did do some form of a call-in show last summer.
You did.
Where you were where you were drop your numbers in the Rockfin chat and we're gonna call you, because I remember because I dropped my number in there and ran into you guys.
We had a great time with it.
We liked it. We want to do it, but
you guys took it to the next level.
Yeah, it's
now
about
everybody's gonna go back and try and find that Rockfin chat just to pull Glory's number.
Yeah. We did it with the phone like this.
Yeah.
And
it was our real number.
We're having a lot of fun with the call-in show.
If y'all want to work that hard to find my number, fucking go ahead. If you're gonna work that hard, then I feel kind of obligated
slide
to
into Glory's
answer.
DMs. She loves that.
I should have worn my Steve and Glory pins today.
Aw. No, it's lower.
Right here?
One on each nipple.
Right there on each nipple. Giant Steve and Glory.
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to get your nipples pierced, then as the jewelry, use
No. These are too sensitive. No. No.
I had a roommate that had her nipples pierced and she loved it.
I'm sure she did, but
yeah.
I mean, dude, I had mine pierced for the number of years. I had fucking holes slid all kinds of fucking places on my body. They're fucking. I did a show where we did a 2-dimensional 5-pointed star going up with a 2-dimensional 5-pointed star, and it smaller one pointed down as a part of. There is a thing in Denver called Whip It. Okay, and it was a tattoo piercing fucking freak deaky fetish show, and it would happen every year. And the tattoo artist, it's this really fucking funny follow-up story about the tattoo artist too, by the way. But there was a tattoo artist who was being featured in this thing, and she's like, "Will you know, I'll fucking discount tattoo if you let me put a significant portion of your arm, and we could do it in the show. And by the way, you should probably not wear a lot of clothes. And by the way, they want to stick about 80 needles in your back and do some artwork on your back with piercings too. But the tattoo's free." And I'm like, "You had me a free tattoo."
Jesus.
Well, look at that time over there. Oh my God, I feel like scent of a woman when he's blind. Woo.
Hey, you want to talk about time, bro? We did a show with Commander X yesterday.
Oh my lord!
I need to watch that.
Even
I
more than
recommend
that,
it.
like we did ABB to promote the show, Commander X's new show, like the night before. 2 hours with Commander X, me and Lubers and Jones. The rest of us talked. Me, Mark Lubers, and Gloria Jones talked for a total of 4 minutes and 12 seconds in that 2 hours. And Commander X took 4 breaths.
Yeah, I heard he went through it really impressively.
It was, you know what? To see him come back all like in such good spirits and all energetic and going at 100 miles per hour, it was good. So, we weren't complaining too much.
Fuck yeah. Were you guys getting out to anything in LA today? Where I saw that there were people that were marching like hours ago, but I didn't know if how long that was going on or what.
No, yesterday was a big thing. I don't know if there's something today. We might have missed it. I didn't see anything today, but maybe people are still continuing to march. Like there was a lot of energy yesterday. I mean, not just like the amount of people, but just like the car, like even in cars, like everywhere, just so many people. And Westwood is a heavily Jewish populated area. I used to work in that area, and everybody, every client, every person that had weddings, parties, etc., was Jewish. Like there's a lot of Jewish people with a lot of money there. Brentwood, Beverly Hills, the adjacent areas, heavily Jewish. I was pleasantly surprised to see that many Palestinian people out there and people just supporting Palestinians. But like it, what I did want to mention, since you're all here, is the IDF trained sheriff, like literally doing every single possible fucking thing in their power to stop people from coming to this protest, from shutting down the parking lot that they never shut.
Roads.
We have been to this place multiple times since living in LA and getting to know the activist community. Never once has that parking lot been closed. That's where people park. There's really no parking around the area. It's either residential and you have to have the zip code to park there, or you have to go for way further down and maybe you'll find parking or pay a garage. And like, it just makes it so much more difficult. And they close the roads, and then they also close the sidewalks. So people had to walk.
They wouldn't let you walk down sidewalks
around.
It's
like,
Mm-hmm.
protest was here. You were here. They weren't, the police were blocking. You had to walk all the way around to get to the
people had to park down on Sepulveda, Glory, all the way down and walk all the way up Sepulveda, all the way up to Wilshire Boulevard. Literally park like a half a mile away and walk all the way up.
Even
was
more.
like the closest. If I didn't know how to go through the back way and park in Westwood Village, I would have been like stuck. But like I worked in that area, so I was able to kind of move stuff around. But the big parking lot where mostly people park, they closed it down. Like they really did shut that shit down. They made it hard for people to attend and hard for people to participate. And it kicked back some of the time, but the participation was awesome. I think the actual people showing up was amazing. How many people showed up?
It almost made people like be more angry, and show up more. And also the Slinky, the Slinky we all love.
Oh man, they whipped out the Slinky, man.
Yeah,
like. That was one of the things that I'm mad at. That was one of the things I'm mad I missed the Slinky, man.
Yeah.
Your boys, the sheriff's department, loaded to the T, got there.
Yeah. I saw them see their khakis. Yeah, I saw them. Yeah. I'm surprised that more people in LA haven't pointed out that Michael Moore, who's chief of LAPD, literally went to Israel in 2014 to participate in the JINSA Homeland Security Program, where that's where they literally teach, that's where they learn how the IDF deals with terrorism threats. 2014 participant, Michael Moore. At the time, he was just like assistant chief officer of special operations, but now he's chief of all of LAPD, and that's where he was in 2014. And right after, well, not right after, but in 2014, he was just, I think it was assistant chief of special operations. But the year after that, whether it was right after, I don't know, but the year after that was when he started getting promoted. So
Israel is is
I'm
the state of Israel.
11 pointing that out.
There are colonial imperialist partners. People should also know too that in El Salvador, the base, the reason why we keep that particular group in power over there, you know, for corporate needs and whatnot, is also Israel has a 10 years weapons deal with El Salvador, and Israel was actually sending troops there to help train the Salvadorian army how to keep people inside their country so they don't escape to the United States.
Israel's really good at that.
I mean, it's like we have a lot of experience in this in Gaza. Listen to us. We'll show you. It's like people wake up. You know what was awesome too, though, and we got to point this out. We have some video, and we'll show that, and you should have saw it on our live stream. Is that like when they marched, there was like a construction site going up. A bunch of Palestinian supporters climbed all the way to the top and were waving the flags, and then we will march back to the other side. They went on top of that Boingo parking structure and waved the Palestinian flags. It's just great seeing the energy when you see people pointing up and they're waving the flags, and you get that feeling, and everybody's just cheering and screaming. It's so awesome, the energy to be inside that type of environment as well. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. We have to seize on this moment, like, and that can sound cold-hearted.
I want to talk to you guys like off camera and later as the week is going on about like getting some events of our own together soon.
Yeah, we have a new show where, it's a Convo Couch Roar kind of collaboration. We're going to be starting this Thursday. Our friends at Roar Media, me and Shanda, it's called To Hell and Back. We're going to take an in-depth look of addiction in the United States and talk about that, Steve. So if there's some stuff you want to join the discussion on, we're actually going to be talking about Shanda's story and how she ended up, you know, she had said to me several times that she tried to kill herself to overdose because she didn't want to live anymore. And the whole addiction process and how it's kind of thrusted upon us. And the way a lot of people in this country, especially a lot of white people, just believe that guy in the white coat, that doctor, and the doctor says, take this. And the next thing you know, they're an addict and they're trapped in hell. So we're going to be talking about that, you know, a new show we're starting. It's called To Hell and Back this Thursday at 4:00 Pacific. We'll be starting our first show with Shanda. So there are some collaborations I'd love to talk to you guys about. Gloria, you're in Florida, so you see this with these pain clinics all the time right there. You grew up in that stuff and how it's like weed is illegal in Florida, but Oxycontin is legal.
At least it's medicinal now, but yeah.
But still medicinal, not
We're
recreational.
gonna have to coordinate around that, dude, because we've been doing our Thursday show at 4 too. So
oh shit! Sorry.
No.
Wait,
We've
Thursday
been
show at
starting
4
a
or
little
5?
bit later to compensate for Ali's work schedule.
Awesome.
So
yeah. Well, maybe if you go at 5, we'll lead right into you.
There's no way you can only talk for an hour.
Maybe if you go at 5:15, we'll leave right into you.
Shut up, Steve. You talk for like 3 hours, 5 hours sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way you can only talk for an hour.
I know.
An hour is
Okay.
like you're getting fucking warmed up. Dude.
Hey,
It
could be worse. You could be Commander X, where you literally schedule your show to be 4 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Well, listen, guys, not for nothing. We started the show with you at 10 o'clock. The Islander game started at 9. It's Islanders Penguins, first round of the playoffs. It's now 3-3 going into the third period. I thought I was going to be able to watch the third period. It was on my schedule. Watch third period after slow news day.
Schedule. It was odd by schedule.
It was on my schedule.
Schedule.
That's schedule.
What I love is that you made Reed face, but if you don't know who Reed is, it's like lost in translation. But that was that was the fuck you. Oh, it was great.
That's my character, Reed.
That really is his character, though.
What's your character's name?
I forgot.
We got to make you like a
We
neoliberal
were
Anna
playing
Navarro.
neoliberal. Oh God, why did you have to pick her?
Because she's awful.
She is awful.
She's awful.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. That's true. No, guys, Glory's got to do some fucking Gwen Eiffel fucking spinoff or some shit like that.
What's that?
Gwen Eiffel is was this celebrated NPR host who was like the only black person allowed on NPR forever.
Nice, polite Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
We all need
I just feel like
if we're all doing parody characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are.
We got Sequoia, Reed, and Anna 2.0. We need something else over here.
Definitely need.
okay, but why do I have to be a parody of someone I don't even know?
Because we're all parodies of somebody.
Well, she should pick somebody she knows.
Thank you,
just
Steve.
randomly
Can you believe
happened
these men?
through freak
Suggestions.
circumstance meet the real life Sequoia Morwhite. Okay, that was purely a character. I didn't really think it was gonna happen, and then when I met the dude, like as he's talking, I'm like, holy fuck, this guy, you know. But I'm saying you can base your parody.
Okay, Steve, you're a Renaissance actor.
I know, but I don't know
okay?
who Gwen Person is.
You're a Renaissance actor. Steve, Pasta's having an aneurysm because he's missing.
No,
hockey.
I'm not. It's
Monster,
3 to
go watch
3.
the game,
It's
man.
going to
This is
overtime.
you're
So I'm going to
here
get the
with
overtime
family.
period.
You can get up whenever you want to and go watch the fucking game. I would be doing it out of pure entertainment as a Blackhawks fan.
The Blackhawks didn't make the playoffs. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. I'm aware of that.
Sorry.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah,
This was
he
a building
can't
year anyway.
miss the show, Pasta, because his team ain't even in the playoffs.
This was a building season.
Whoa. And to be honest with you, right, Steve, if there's any sports you're going to watch, I think it would be hockey. I believe Sleepy's there too, right? Sleep?
Yeah, I watch
hockey.
I watch real football. I
Oh.
watch
No, you don't.
yeah, I do.
Gwen.
Not like I need to live and breathe it,
I know.
but I do watch.
Then
It's
talk
my preferred
about it
football.
more. I need more people to talk about football with. Come on, Steve.
It's football.
You
want to talk
See
football,
how much
talk with
you
me.
see how much free time I already have, Jones.
I know, but I'm saying when you watch football,
I
Let me
also
know.
enjoy mixed martial arts and boxing. I do.
I do too.
oh my
Yeah.
God, y'all, we're in track season 2.
And and by the way, like I know 1/3 of the sports I used to. I was always entrenched in it. Obviously, we're entrenched with this too. So it's a way of stepping out of the bubble just to get away from the actual political attacks that are coming on left and right. And the teams I
Literally.
like, the Islanders and Knicks, they really resemble our group. Like they're full teams. In fact, the nickname for the New York Knicks now has become the Big 15, meaning that everybody's a part of the whole thing. And that's how I feel about us in the MTC network. We're all this big team. We bring all these
Don't
Pasta,
make this
that
about the
hurts
Knicks.
my heart. That hurts
We
my
are the New
heart.
York Knicks.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, we're
We
not.
are the New York Islanders of independent media.
No.
No.
Let's not put it into the framing of something that in and of itself exhibits like everything that we hate about the world.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
to be fair, Derrick Rose's comeback, though, I appreciate it.
Beautiful.
Sure. Everybody
beautiful.
loves a redemption arc.
But
Yeah,
other than
Blew out his
that,
knees. I mean, come on. This is the Big
Yeah.
15.
yeah. But other than that, fuck the Knicks.
Hello. Fuck
Really?
the Heat.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, you can try, but we won the conference finals last year, and we're gonna do it again, despite being the
Just
underdog.
No,
sports
you're not.
Sorry,
No,
on
you're not. You ain't getting out of the first round of the playoffs there.
I support
You ain't
Steve,
getting out.
we know this. Let us have fun.
That's
Nope.
what I'm saying. That's what okay, and that's fine. That's fine. But like understand that I'm going to clown that.
Yeah.
Like I'm still gonna clown it. Like I had shout out to Yelbro for doing this, hosting fight night. Like
Love Yell, bro. I didn't jump on last
fucking,
night. I should have.
like that's an escape hatch. You know, it really is. And I
But
know
it's not
that,
really.
like, on a Saturday, if I need to decompress or not, like we passed on ABB last night just because all of the horrible shit that we've talked about for the last several days. You know, you got to have a little fucking escape for that. You do.
Yeah, but they go right
Yeah,
back.
I
to
know, but
politics
you don't see me in the Yell Bro chat going, "Oh, you guys know this is all rigged, right?"
there. I want to send a shout out to Sebs and Stevie that are always on that chat. You know what I'm saying? They're awesome. So, and Sebs
Redneckonomics.
she's hardcore, man. Sebs is like, forget about it. She goes after you. Like, you can't say shit out of line. She'll come after your ass. So,
Josh hit the wrap it up box because we started talking about sports.
Woo,
Josh,
look at that
we're on
time.
the same team here.
Thank you, Fee.
No pun intended.
Third period is over.
Yeah.
It's tied 3-3 going to overtime. Woo!
I do
We're
need to
also
start
2
getting
hours
ready
in,
to
so
head out
there
to head out to the action tonight. So
Hey!
what?
Glory on the ground.
Yep.
That's what glory on the ground.
Yeah, you know.
GOG, baby.
Is that
Hey, if you see Geoff, give him some love. You know what I'm
Tell him
saying?
he should be there.
Because I haven't
Oh,
seen any
yeah.
of those fucks
I'm-
in any
I'm
action,
gonna-
by the way.
I'll put money on Jeff Campbell showing up to a fucking pro-Palestinian protest in fucking Broward County. I will. I'll put money. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
actually in Dade.
Dade, whatever.
Well, 40 minutes.
They're right next to each other, technically, where they're at.
Depends
So they
on
could be.
where
I
It's
mean,
Florida,
Tim Canova
everyone
ran
is
against
a
Debbie Wasserman Schultz, District 34, was it, or 24?
23.
23.
You're
I get it.
12
It's Michael
districts
Jordan.
off.
Yeah, 23. And
District
half the
34 is
districts
Tina's
in Broward and some
podcast,
of it in
Pasta.
Dade. What's that? Gloria, I spoke over you. What'd you say, Glory? Make fun of me again, please.
District 34 is a podcast, Pasta.
Oh, no
That's why you were
wonder I-
confused. You're confusing. Yeah. Okay. All right.
District 23. It's in Dade and Broward.
Oh, say hi to our friends over there. You know, Peter and yeah. Say hi to all those people for us, Glory, please.
I'll give them my regards.
I don't want to hear from them.
Okay.
Don't wanna
I'm
hear
not
from
going to
them.
explain this. I'm just
Yeah.
going to not say anything.
Pasta's been airing Jen's boyfriend.
Oh, jeez. What are we doing? Oh, the Knicks are going to win today. They're going to win the
Oh
fourth
my
seed.
God,
The Knicks are
stop
going to
with
beat
the
the Hawks
fucking
and go into the second round. That's what the Knicks are
Pasta
going to do today.
Jardula, Fiorella Isabel, Johnny Buttons, Johnny Hollywood, Johnny Streets, Johnny Camera, Johnny Maricopa, Johnny Audit.
Johnny everything.
Hey man, if there's people who for some reason don't know who you are, please tell them where they can find you and how they can support you.
Well, you can go over to the Rockfin, ROKFIN. Sign up for the Convo Couch. That's the Convo and Couch. And of course, we have a Patreon, a PayPal link, which you can help us out because, unlike these other guys, the Convo Couch gets on the ground. So come on over to the Convo Couch. That's the Convo, short for conversation, Couch with Fiorella Isabel, Pasta Jardula, and Johnny Everything. Is that good?
So you guys can find me on Twitter at Fiorella_IM. You know, we're like I said, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, all that bullshit. Just watch us. Shout out to Slow News Day for killing it, streaming all the time. By the way, I see you guys grinding.
Yeah, you don't even sleep, Steve.
Yeah, you know, none of us sleep.
Okay.
Sleep is overrated. So
It's
yeah.
fucking, that's funny though, because Johnny texted me at like 2:00 in the morning and he's like, so what time is this again? And I text him right back and he's like, you guys are assholes or something like that. It's like, dude, I don't.
Did we want to read out the super raids?
Oh,
Yeah, because those super rays are always appreciated on the couch.
They're always appreciated on Slow News Day.
Christ.
You want to get one in
both
too,
of them
Sleepy?
do the
Next
side eye
time,
at the same
Have only one of
time.
them on at once, Steve.
I can't wait to see you again, Steve. I really can't. I want to get up there. I want to go see McHenry. I want to give some love and glory. You know, I know you're in Florida, but we miss
we
you
have
over
to
here and
go.
stuff.
We have to go to
You have
Florida
to-
eventually. We should
that's-
drag Steve to Florida too.
Dude,
Hell
I'll come
yeah.
to no, there's no drag. I'll go to Florida. I don't give a fuck. Like, at what point have I did? No, I make
You
fun
were
of
so
Florida,
combative
but
about
don't think
that.
just because I make fun of the state that I wouldn't hang
I make
out
fun
there.
of
I
the
make
state.
fun
It's,
of like every
Georgia
state
you
that
won't
I'm
hang
in.
out in.
You're so combative.
What did Sleepy say?
I said it's Georgia he won't hang out in.
No, I'm not. Well, I was
You're not allowed.
banned by the state and legally not.
Why are you bringing
allowed
up bullshit?
to go? It's expunged. Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Thank you, Climate Rebel, former VP Biden, EM Wolf, and No Offense for
No offense.
super raise.
Former VP Biden says, random thought, since we can't beat him, let's join him. I hereby announce the crypto coin based on election integrity. We'll say that the coin is for funding our own election machines and processes. Let's have some fun with it. So fuck it. Sure. Vote coin. I don't know.
Vote coin. I got me a fine wife, got me a fiddle. Sun's coming up, I got cakes on the griddle. Life ain't nothing but a funny riddle. Thank God I'm a combo boy. I'm going to watch hockey. I love you.
Enjoy hockey.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Love y'all too. Do you wanna kick them? Because I don't think
Kick us out so I can stand up.
All right. Well, God damn it. I don't like this part because it doesn't show up. But I need a mouse. There we go.
The youth had the mod.
Excellent. What you got, Jones?
None much. Just gonna be on the ground later today. There was a pretty good presence yesterday that was pro-Palestine, and I hope it gets carried over today. And yeah.
Well, cool. Please join us in about 3 hours. We'll be back with our Sunday afternoon Rockfin show. We're like heavy on news for that. Looking forward to it. We got a lot to talk about. Big thanks to my better than your co-hosts, Ali Alexander and Glory Jones, to the Convo Couch. I'm pretty sure that like most of the people that watch this show are already on board, but if you're not, dude, definitely go check them out. Sleepy Josh on the ones and twos. Everybody who's watching and hanging out.
Sleepy.
Love you guys, and we'll see you very, very soon. Good luck to us all.
Love y'all.